Hi friends, welcome to Pharma Classes Learn at a Glance. I am Dr. JP. Today we are going to discuss loop diuretics using the book Pharmacology Learn at a Glance. We are going to see. First, what are the uses of loop diuretics? They are used to remove edema fluid induced by sodium retention in renal, hepatic or cardiac diseases. Next, loop diuretics are the most effective diuretics because they can excrete up to 25% of the filtered sodium. How does edema fluid occur? In kidney disease, extra fluid and sodium in the circulation may cause edema that usually accumulates in the legs and around the eyes. Next, cirrhosis of the liver. It causes fluid to accumulate in the abdominal cavity and legs. Last one, in congestive heart failure, heart loses its ability to pump blood effectively. As a result, blood can accumulate in the legs, ankles and feet, thus cause edema. Next, what should be done or how should we treat? We use the drugs that must remove sodium ions from the body in order to reduce edema fluid. Next, how do loop diuretics remove sodium ions? They block the sodium potassium 2 chloride co-transporter, thereby reabsorption of sodium in the loop of Henle decreases. These loop diuretics inhibits this channel, thereby reabsorption of these ions are inhibited. Next, what is the function of a sodium potassium 2 chloride co-transporter? Whenever this channel is activated, within the cell potassium ions are accumulated, thus causing leakage of these potassium ions into the lumen through the potassium channels. Thereby, in the lumen, positive potential is increased. Here you see movement of potassium ions from the cell into the lumen. Thereby, in the lumen, positive potential is increased. Next, what effect does the positive charge do? When there is no positive charge in the lumen, the calcium and magnesium ions are excreted. Because the lumen has a positive potential, the magnesium and calcium ions are repelled from the lumen side into the interstitial side through paracellular mechanism, thus promote reabsorption. Here you see the movement of calcium and magnesium ions from the luminal side into the interstitial side through paracellular mechanism. Now, so far what we have discussed the functions of sodium potassium 2 chloride co-transporter. What is the first function? Activation of this channel causes reabsorption of sodium potassium 2 chloride ions. This is activation of this co-transporter causes movement of this ion into the cell. Second one, indirect function of sodium potassium 2 chloride transporter. That means activation of this channel causes accumulation of potassium ions within the cells, thus causing leakage of potassium ions into the lumen. Thereby in the lumen positive potential is developed. Due to the positive potential, these calcium and magnesium ions are repelled from the lumen side into the interstitial side. Next, mechanism of action of loop diuretics. They inhibit the sodium potassium 2 chloride co-transporter, thereby they increase the excretion of sodium, potassium chloride, magnesium and calcium. You see, inhibition of this channel causes excretion of these ions from the lumen. What are those drugs? Here I have given one mnemonic B-FIT. All are capital letters, but we have to observe bold. BEFT. B. Bumetanide. E. Ethacrenic acid. F. Furosemide. T. Torsemide. Next, coming to the key points of these drugs. First one, bumetanide is the most potent loop diuretic with lesser side effects than furosemide. Second one, ethacrenic acid is highly ototoxic drug. Third one, the vasodilator effect of furosemide is responsible for quick relief in left ventricular failure and pulmonary edema. Last one, torsemide has the longest half-life. Next, coming to the adverse effects, loop diuretics cause a rapid and excessive loss of blood volume as well as electrolyte imbalance, which leads to hypotensive shock and even cardiac arrhythmia. Next, second one, sodium potassium 2 chloride co-transporter is also located in the inner eye, so they cause ototoxicity. Next, furosemide and bumetanide are sulfonamide derivatives, hence they should not be administered in patients allergic to sulfonamides. Next, ethacronic acid and furosemide compete with uric acid transport at the same site. As a result, its secretion is obstructed, thus result in gout. Last one, like thiazides, furosemide has a metabolic effect that increases insulin resistance, leading to diabetes, especially in the presence of hypokalemia. Next, final drug interactions of furosemide. We know that digoxin causes hypokalemia, so that it should not be administered with furosemide. Why? Because both they cause severe hypokalemia. Second one, NSAIDs should not be administered with furosemide because NSAIDs inhibit prostaglandin synthesis and block TZ-mediated hemodynamic changes of loop diuretics. The repeated use results in sodium and water retention, and they decrease the antihypertensive effect of loop diuretics or thiazides. Next, third one, furosemide should not be administered with aminoglycosides because both of them cause ototoxicity. When used together, they may potentiate further toxicity. Next, last one, furosemide or thiazides should not be administered with lithium because furosemide induces hyponatremia, which results in a compensatory increase in sodium and lithium reabsorption in the proximal convoluted tubule, resulting in lithium toxicity. I hope you like this video. If you want to purchase the book, the link is provided in the description. For more videos, you please like, share, subscribe my channel. Thank you very much.